Oh, my friends, it is finally upon us. After an agonizing 9-month wait, we finally have a regular good old-fashioned full-blown Nintendo Direct happening tomorrow. At the time of this recording, it is Monday, and tomorrow, Tuesday at 7 a.m. Pacific time, which is my time, it's the real thing. It's the real deal. It's finally here. And it's a dangerous situation to be in. You know, to say that expectations are high would be an understatement. It really would. You know, the last September Direct, it wasn't terrible, but it did not quite deliver on the level we were expecting, and then to not even have one in February. So now it really is just like, all right, Nintendo, like, we're here. We're sitting at the table. I think I made this joke last time or sometime recently, but like, the plate's empty. We got our fork and our knife and our bib on our tucked in our collar, and we're just like, all right, like we're holding like cartoon style, the fork and the knife licking our lips. What do you got for us, man? We got a couple of medium-sized titles lined up for the next few months, but nothing major, nothing big for the holiday season, nothing for 2027. Right now, the schedule is pretty much open. All eyes are on Nintendo to deliver, which, yes, again, it is a dangerous situation because it means hopes are high. It means pretty much across the board, hopes are going to be high. More than ever, Nintendo kinda has to deliver unless they want a whole bunch of internet complaining. I know. Nothing is worse than internet complaining. How will they survive? However, in all seriousness though, like, yeah, it's true that people complaining online, like, Nintendo really doesn't care that much about that. But like, vibes really do impact their stock prices because, like, investors, like, they can feel the same way. If they feel like Nintendo doesn't know what they're doing, then that can have an impact on their stock price. You know, they can start selling off their stock. Like, we need confidence, you know, like, Nintendo does need to breed confidence. That doesn't mean eternally pleasing all of their fans and customers, but it does mean keeping up the appearance that the Switch 2 is going well and it's gonna have momentum and all that stuff. So yeah, kind of a lot is riding on this one. And I have spoken with the wind. I have consulted the wind, and I think I have a kind of a feeling of which way it's gonna go, but I'll talk more about that, like, at the end. First, let's go over my just regular old predictions. You know, obviously there are the predictions that I have already made in the yearly predictions video in, you know, December, January, or whatever. By now I can barely even remember what I predicted for this year, but you know, before each presentation, it's fun to do a whole new set of predictions. What do I think is gonna happen tomorrow? Let me go down the list. Honestly though, I don't have a lot of wild swings for you. If I have any wild swings, they probably were in the predictions video. Here, some more safe bets. First, it's something that I've predicted before, plenty of people have predicted before, plenty of rumors, it just keeps coming up over and over and over again. Super Metroid Remake. I don't know. It feels so inevitable. You know, there is part of me that really hopes that instead they're working on Metroid 6, you know, after waiting all of these years. It'd be really nice to continue the story. But at the same time, I really could see them doing kind of a pattern. You know, they remade Metroid 2 and then going into a brand new title. And then, okay, let's do a little bit, you know, kind of a lower budget, little cheaper, safe in its own kind of way, Super Metroid Remake. And then if that goes well, then maybe we'll roll into another brand new title. I don't know, but yeah, I certainly hope it's Metroid 6 instead, but Super Metroid, I don't know. It just makes sense to me. I think tomorrow they're gonna finally announce a Super Metroid Remake for September, and then they will also announce at that time that Metroid Dread is getting a free update for, you know, just better performance and whatnot. Mainly just a higher resolution when played on Switch 2. I'd love 120 FPS. I mean, like, is that unrealistic? I think that could, yeah, no, sure, there you go. Yeah, 120 FPS, 4K visuals on Switch 2, free update. That will go live today, and then Super Metroid will come in September. And then after that, they will announce a Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Switch 2 edition. This is another thing that's been thrown around a whole lot. I myself have probably predicted it once or twice. It's such a popular game, and it's got so much content. And I think it's very possible that we're not going to be getting a brand new Smash for maybe a few years. I mean, we could just as easily get one announced at this presentation right here. Or we could get one next year. I don't know. It's totally possible. But re-releasing, repackaging the game for Switch 2, it's just such a good opportunity. It's just such a good money-making opportunity. I think this is going to be basically the same as the Animal Crossing New Horizons Switch 2 edition, where it's a very small upgrade, relatively speaking. It's going to cost like $5. And they are going to like introduce a whole bunch of like smaller, like new features, little tweaks to the gameplay, not sure, maybe mostly just to the options and features, some nice thoughtful little quality of life features, maybe some that people have been asking for, and then of course higher resolution and once again 120 FPS gameplay. If the original could look that good and have that many players and still maintain a stable 60 FPS, I think they could probably pull off 120 FPS on Switch 2. So yeah, the good news is that this will be another cheap, kind of no-brainer upgrade for owners of the previous version, but then the bad news is it's not going to include any of the DLC. It's too much DLC, like it is. What, like all together, what's it, like $55 to buy all the DLC? Like just about the price of buying the base game. So I really do not see Nintendo packaging all of that together into like an $80 bundle. Partially greed, perhaps, but I also know that all these, these DLC characters, so many of them are licensed characters, which probably comes with, it's probably one reason why the DLC costs so much. They got to pay licensing fees, and so yeah, I really can't see them packaging it all together in like a, $20 extra bonus kind of thing. So yeah, you'll still have to buy the DLC separate, but it will still be cool, and that will be coming out in October. So at that point, we'll have something good for September and good for October. And then in this presentation, they will also give us a brand new Splatoon Raiders trailer. This will probably be a much more in-depth, maybe even like an overview trailer. Like it's coming pretty soon. But at the end of that, we're gonna get a tease for Splatoon 4 scheduled for next year. It'll be, a pretty vague kind of thing, mainly like a story teaser. Like it's just like a little lore teaser. The characters will do some little thing, some little tease, and it'll be like, 2027. We won't get any more than that, but that'll still be pretty cool. And maybe we will get more, have more revealed at the September Direct, but I don't know. Can't get ahead of myself here. We're talking about tomorrow, and then we come to the big one, the big reveal in this presentation, probably the reveal to close out the show. It's the holiday title. It's coming out in November. It's the only game in the universe brave enough to go head to head with GTA 6. Nintendo could not care less. They live in their own little world, so we're getting a game in November, and you know what it is? You know what it's gonna be? Ocarina of Time remake. I know it's not the most creative prediction. It's what the rumors have been saying, and yet for me, in a sense, I'm kind of going out on a limb. A little bit, because there is still part of me that is kind of skeptical of this idea, and mainly, I talked about it a whole bunch in a video. Like, my problem with it is, like, I feel like it's not really worth doing unless it's a really humongous remake that just kind of reimagines a whole bunch of it, completely rebuilds the whole world, really turns it into a big modern experience. And that's just not the kind of thing that Nintendo has done before for like their 3D games. We haven't had like this enormous AAA modernization of a 3D game, especially a game like Ocarina of Time, such a beloved classic. It's hard for me to believe that they would do that because there's no precedent for it, and that is why I am predicting it. And that's why, like, I feel like I'm going against my better judgment and saying, okay, like, yeah, it would be unexpected, but that's why I'm predicting it. I think they will. I think they will announce full-blown Ocarina of Time remake, but like the full thing. This is not Ocarina of Time HD. This is not a remaster. This is a ground-up remake. It will be very, very faithful in all the right ways, but of course, they're going to be making a lot of changes. They're going to be bringing in a lot of modern ideas and just kind of making a better version of the game. It's still 80-90% the original. The heart and the soul are still there, but it is going to be a real remake. Here's a way to put it. It's gonna look good enough. It's gonna look like enough of a remake that you don't get that thing that you usually do with like these much safer remakes and remasters that Nintendo tends to do. Sometimes they're so faithful, they're not super duper ambitious that a lot of the audience is just like, I own this game already. So like if this isn't really offering that much of a different new experience or a lot of new content, I'm just not really interested. I don't want to spend the money on it. Just one example, Super Mario RPG. Like it's beautiful and it's amazing and it's a great game, but it's so incredibly faithful that a person who has already played Super Mario RPG a bunch of times, already owns it, might just be like, yeah, I don't know, maybe someday if it's on sale, but this is going to be different. This is going to be enough of a remake. It's going to look amazing enough that it's gonna be kind of a no-brainer for even people who own Ocarina of Time, even people who have played it about 100,000 times. It's not gonna feel like a safe, less ambitious remake. It's gonna feel like a full-blown Zelda project. Obviously not quite something on the scope of Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, but still a very satisfying and impressive project. And yeah, that'll be the last really big announcement. That'll be the show closer, the big holiday game. And overall, really like whatever happens, like for a moment, let's step away from my own predictions. The real thing I want to predict here is I think it's gonna be a good show. This really is me going out on a limb because like, it's one thing to predict what Nintendo will do, kind of based on what it kind of feels like they need to do at any given time. Again, like this is a direct where they kind of need to deliver. But I've usually got like, I don't know, it's the wind. There's like this little teeny tiny voice inside of me, this little tiny tickle that every once in a while speaks to me. Every once in a while, I'll just get this little feeling. And it's usually one way or the other. It's like, you know what? I think this is gonna be a good one. Or it's like, you know what? I feel a stinker coming. I don't know why. I just kind of do. And there's no real rhyme or reason to it, but that is usually correct. It's usually correct. And I don't know why. It's probably just luck up to this point because obviously I am not psychic. And yet each time I've had one of these little teeny weeny little inklings, it's been true. And this is dangerous because all it takes is one time getting this wrong, admitting this. I'm admitting this verbally that I'm having this feeling. So if it doesn't turn out, then there you go. My streak is broken and I can no longer trust that little voice. But you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna let you know. The voice is telling me I think it's gonna be a good one. I think we're gonna come away from this one feeling pretty darn good. I think there's gonna be some really nice announcements in there. I think overall, we're gonna walk away feeling pretty positive about the next, year or something of Nintendo. We're gonna have a lot of big games to talk about, a lot of excitement, not too much controversy, kind of weighing everything down. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good one, but we shall see. Please give me your hopes and dreams and predictions down in the comments of this video. Give me some wacky predictions. Give me your safe ones. It's always nice to do safe ones or to dig into the wish list, the stuff that you want to see. Give me some wild swings too, Give me something wacky, but it's got to be realistic though. It's got it's that balance of wacky, but still plausible enough, Something like Golden Sun remake. Something along those lines, even though they should never remake Golden Sun because you cannot ever beat those pixel graphics. They are too beautiful. Although, now that I think about it, what if they remade Golden Sun, but in the same way that they did Super Mario RPG remake, where it's still kind of like the 3D sprites, except before you converted them into pixels? That could be good. That could be really, ooh. Okay, one more prediction. Golden Sun remake.